One. Hello, welcome to the Chrissy Mayer podcast. This episode, we have my longtime friend and comedian Sean Morton. Thank you for waking up this afternoon during quarantine.
I've been up since 5, so this is fine.
You've been up since 5 a.m.?
I don't sleep anymore. I don't sleep to begin with, but I think my circadian rhythms are completely off.
Really? Are you up like me watching a lot of conspiracy videos? And
No, I don't do conspiracies too much. I do trash TV. a lot of trash TV, and then I doze for like a half an hour, and if I sleep for like any more than 10 minutes, I'm done for the night. So
really?
always.
So you're a napper. You're like a day napper, a night napper?
No, I literally just get 3 to 4 hours sleep a day.
Some people are like that. Some people just need like a single REM cycle and they're good. Not me. I could easily sleep like 9-10 hours.
Oh, I don't even remember the last time I've gotten 9 hours sleep in one day.
Well, now you could. Yeah, you could. But then you hit the point where you have too much sleep and then you get into like depression mode. And then you're like, well, what's the point of waking up at all? Like, I have nothing to do today. It's like
pretty much. That is pretty true.
It's taken me 2 months to actually get my ass out of bed in the morning and start jogging a little and doing something because I just don't want to come out of quarantine like one of those like blowing air-filled
yeah, the wacky wobblers.
Wacky wobblers, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's talk about this room that you're in right now. Look at all this paraphernalia. Is this all baseball stuff?
No, I'm pretty much a 43-year-old man-child. So since I don't have a kid, I basically just buy stuff for this room and then I put it up on the walls. And like when I go on the road a lot, well, when we used to have comedy.
Yes, those were the days.
Yeah, those are the great old days. I would go to the malls like early to kill time, and then I would just go to like these stores and just buy stuff and throw them on the walls.
I kind of loved that time, like the time before your gigs or like travel time, and you can just like go into stores and be like, well, I have time. I might as well go into Forever 21 and try on this sparkly tube top. You know, it's like, well,
I've been there too. So,
Sean, I wanted to talk to you because I remember, you know, I've opened for you. I've worked with you a lot over the years. You're one of the funniest people I know. You're one of the best like road comics. I've seen you kill in any kind of room, no matter where in the country. And I remember this was like months and months ago. You were telling me you were like gearing up. You were finally gonna quit your day job to commit to comedy 100%. Which to me, I was like, that is the biggest deal. That is the biggest deal. And for any comic who has made that transition knows just what a big deal is. And now we have this fucking crazy pandemic. How are you dealing?
So it was one of those things where I felt that I was comfortable enough to do it. I have enough material. I have enough contacts. And I was at my job for close to 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the same position or just same company?
Same position, same thing, doing the same thing every day. And then it was like, I started mentally gearing up to make the jump. And then on Valentine's Day, I got called into the office and I was let go.
What? They beat you to it? Did they hear about your plan?
They beat me to it. Yes, that's what pisses me off the most.
Did they hear a podcast or something?
I mean, nah. You know what it was? It was one of those things where I don't act it, but I am 43, and I have been there a long time, which means
you don't look it, girl.
Well, thank you, dear. But, when you're in a position for a long time, you make good money. So then they, brought in somebody younger, probably making a lot less money than me.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like, okay, well, I guess now I'm a full-time comic. So it kind of really just threw it at me.
Wow.
And, you go through, I mean, I'm sure you've gotten laid off in your life, but like I've never.
Like at least 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
I've never. So that was my first real job.
That's hard. The first one is always the hardest. Like I remember with me, each time I was like fired or laid off, it would take me longer and longer before I started crying. Like first time I was in the person's office, HR, boom. But then next time I waited till I got to the elevator. Next time I waited till I got home. It's like, but it's hard, especially if you've been, that's a lifetime.
Sure.
Nobody keeps a job for 20 years. So that's
3 decades I was there.
Wow.
2000s, the 10s, and the 20s. But then I was like, for the first couple of days was really tough. It was like, okay, what do I do? So then I started blasting out emails and saying, hey, you know what, guys, I'm doing this full time. Can I just, get some dates. And, you know, a couple people were very nice and right away gave me like, you know, a couple road weeks and things like that. And then I did this cruise that I had gotten booked on, which was great. It was an amazing experience. We had a great time. But then when we came off, it was like the world stopped.
And
So,
you were not one of these cruises that got stuck out, like marooned out on the ocean, right?
oh, we got very, very lucky. No one was sick.
You'd still be there.
Yeah, basically. So great experience. And, you know, then I was like, all right, nose to the grindstone when I get back. And then as soon as I get back, the emails just start coming that they just canceled and canceled. I mean, I was loaded up until July. Like,
Wow. That's
very, very
fucking
loaded up until July.
devastating. Yeah.
And look, I'll tell you because, you know, it was like 12 grand in gigs just gone in 3 or 4 days. So it's kind of weird when you're counting on that and you want to make the jump. Not only did I not make the jump the way I wanted to, so I got that taken away. So then it was just like a big, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to do this no matter what. And just wiped away. So
yeah, it's almost like you're being extra tested. Like, how bad do you really want this, Sean Morton?
Pretty much. It was pretty much like, all right, well, listen, now you gotta do what you gotta do. But you know what? I take it with a grain of salt. I really do, because you know what? I'm on unemployment now for the first time in my life. I'm collecting. I'm having one of those issues where everybody's having a hard time. So right now I'm good. And by the time it runs out, we should be back up and running, and then we go back to the grindstone.
And I think honestly, if you as a comic can get through this period of time, which I don't see it getting harder than this for a comic or someone in the gig economy or a small business person. Like if you can get through this pandemic, then you can probably get through anything. This is one of those things.
This is tough. I mean, I hate when people are comparing it to 9/11. You know, this is like,
it's completely different.
It's so different.
Yeah.
And you've grown up in this area too. And I mean, I've lived 5 minutes from New York my entire life. So I was right there during 9/11. And that was a traumatic, terrible, devastating day. The worst day in our country's history. But
were you in Manhattan or you were in Jersey?
No, I was still in Jersey, and I was working for the company at that time still too.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's just it's totally different. I mean, when did you ever think you would see Times Square like have 7 people?
Yeah. And I would like the very last episode I did in the city at Compound Media, and I walked through Times Square to get there from the subway station. And like each time I was like, I can't believe there's like, just a handful of people in Times Square. And it's like, as a New Yorker, I've always wanted to see this, but now that it's here and Times Square is empty of lame tourists, I'm like, oh, I really missed them. And
it's weird too, because like I despise Times Square because of where I've grown up my entire life. I've never done the whole New Year's Eve thing in Times Square.
People who do that have mental issues. Like,
oh yeah,
you want to piss and shit yourself for 12 hours?
No, not happening.
Ugh.
Although I did do it in Nashville like 6 years ago. I decided that like we're never going to go to Times Square. Then I took my mom on a plane for the first time in my life to Nashville for New Year's Eve, which they basically do the same thing. They shut down Broadway, which is like their main strip, but it was like 80,000 people. I mean, it's nowhere near 1 million, but it's still 80,000 people, and I hate people. So it was kind of like a weird thing. Like, why am I even here? I can never imagine going to Times Square, ever.
It's like, well, but we got a Planet Fitness hat, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love seeing the camera pan, and you see like breakups brewing. You see divorce about to happen. You're like, friends that'll never talk again. It's really wild. The more comics I've been talking to, some states are opening up. Some people are getting, comedy work as early as next month already. What's your plan to kind of come back from this?
Connecticut's opening up slowly, but I do most of my work there, which is weird. So I'm sure I'll have a lot more stuff coming up in the fall from there. But I have a week in Iowa at some point that I'm going to be driving out there. I'm sure the casinos will be opening up, so I'll be doing a week in Atlantic City soon. Most of my stuff is private. I don't do a lot of club stuff. There's very few clubs I work at because the club owners are a little tough to deal with. So it's slow and sure. It's slow and sure. I did a Zoom comedy.
I was just about to ask about that. You did a Zoom stand-up show or just a Zoom like storytelling chat?
No, it was actual stand-up. First one I did was a benefit for a friend of mine who booked me on the cruise, and who also books me a lot in Connecticut. So we did a fundraiser. So it was like 90 people in the room watching us, but their mics are muted, so you can't tell if you're getting laughs or not.
Oof.
So that was a little rough.
Yeah.
And then another one I did, a company actually hired my friend who booked me to do a monthly happy hour.
On Zoom.
On Zoom.
Wow.
But it was cool because like you can actually hear people laughing, but in the same time you hear people in the background going, "Hey, did you fill out that progress report for?" And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!
Do we get our checks yet?"
Oh, so it was tough. It was tough, but you just got to keep busy. You got to keep. I've done more podcast interviews than I've done in 12 years.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm doing a lot of these things, and I'm doing a live feed every night on Facebook, whether I like it or not.
That's good.
Just for an hour, just to like, take people's minds off of it too, because you're in the same situation. You can talk for an hour with no problem.
Yeah, I mean, will people want to listen to that hour is another story. But yeah, of course, it's always easy. And I'm going into places I have, like check out my new bird feeder. But it is good to just like to keep that connection with your fans and with your friends, because it's like the comics that are just coasting right now, or I don't know, depressed, or like just I don't know, have lost all momentum. They're the ones I think that are going to be hit with a harsh reality.
Well, I heard one thing. A friend of mine who's been in comedy for a million years actually said, "I forgot my act," and I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even think of that." So like, I literally spent like an hour and a half writing out everything that I remembered, watching old videos, watching clips and stuff, just to keep that fresh, on top of the stuff that you're writing now. But yeah, that was something I never even expected.
I got to do that, because if you were like, "Oh, tonight you got to do 45 minutes to an hour," I'd be like, yeah, I'd have to go through all my like iPhone notes and like, yeah, that's probably a really good idea. Is like one of these nights I just got to like write out my whole set again. So you've been doing these Zoom comedy shows.
Yeah.
They're feeling kind of rough. You get no reaction from the audience. It's weird. Have you been finding yourself writing Corona material, lockdown material?
I can't lie and say when I did the Zoom stuff, I brought props in, and I want to.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's Zoom, different rules. I want to
bash my own fucking face in for doing it.
You're so like, I was just comic now.
Oh, it was just horrible. Like I was like, listen, I know all the comics that were on the show before, so before I start, I sprayed my screen with Lysol.
Who else was on it? Anybody I know?
Pam Schuler was on one. Scott Brennan was on another. So it was a bunch of Jersey, New York comics. But yeah, I started doing props, and then when I did that, I was like, oh, this is like everything I hate about comedy, and I'm doing it now just for a cheap laugh. It was so bad.
I'm sure somebody laughed when you sprayed down the camera.
Yeah, I did a whole hoarding bit. So like I brought out, I'm like, I don't even eat peanut butter, and I pull out 2 jars of Skippy, just like stupid shit like that. But I was like, I can't wait to just get back on and just, it's gonna be angry. It's gonna be angry when I get back up there.
Yeah. Do you think audiences will want to hear lockdown material, or do you think that they will be like, let's pretend we're as close to normal as we are? Do you think they'll be sick of it? Do you think it'll be one of those topics that every comic talks too much about and people?
Yeah, it's gonna be a sticky subject, because right away as a comic you want to talk about the obvious. So, and that's what I do. I talk about real life stuff. So of course I'm gonna touch on it, but I'm not gonna go into like the whole, seeing somebody in the crowd with a Corona beer be like, you're the enemy. Like, I'm not gonna do that kind of shit. But I think people will appreciate it after a while, because I think that the truth in comedy is more relatable, and all the stuff that I do that are more, true stories or things like that are the stuff that goes over well. So of course we're going to bring some sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like
your experience or anecdotal.
Yeah, like what we went through during the coronavirus, So yeah. Look, I can't complain. Like I'm in a beautiful house, and I go out every day to the park. Like I'm not one of those people who's been in my house for 72 days straight.
Yeah, that'll make you nuts.
No, I'd be done. But like, I'm living as much of a normal life as I possibly can. Like I go to Target like twice a week just because it's open.
You know what is the best at Target? That is like a secret find. The sheets, the bed sheets at Target are, I think, the best for the price. They're like maybe $50, and they're so soft and crisp, and like it's I think it's the Threshold brand. And like Frank was like, I love these, and like now it's like they're so underrated. They're so good, and they're not. I used to think it had to be like thread count, but these are just like soft and nice and crisp.
Thanks. Now I have to go to Target tomorrow.
Target, man. Oh, just feel them. Like stick your hand in under the little thing and just like feel them. Even the thing that the sheets come in is made of the sheets. It's like a little flap holder thing that's made of the sheet material, and you can just sort of.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people. I have no problem if I'm going to a store like Target and I have to buy underwear. And I'm like, oh, here's the double X. Does it look like it's going to fit? I don't know. Let's find out. And I'll rip the thing open. And I'll just
savage.
Yeah, I have no shame in my game at all.
Do you then buy that underwear, or do you take?
No, I put it back and I take the sealed one because that's the right thing to do.
There should just be one trial pair of underpants, really. Anyway.
Yeah. Think about that though. Think what you're saying. Imagine having a trial thong in the middle of Victoria's Secret. They've been on it. No, you don't.
Do have them in the dressing room. They'll have like sample-y ones, and those are the ones like you try on over your other underwear. But for the most part, I don't think people are trying on panties under their underpants, because it's like you're trying to see how they look.
Gross. That's kind of gross.
It is kind of gross. It's kind of gross, but I haven't bought new underwear in quite some time. So you're going to Target twice a week for food or just to go?
Just to go. Just to go, just to get out of the house. There's like a Starbucks there, so I'll grab a coffee or whatever. And, I try and stay away from Walmart because it's like the dregs of society definitely just congregate there. And like I never knew, I've said this before on stage when I do shows in my town, like you never really truly know the pieces of shit that live in your town until you open a Walmart in your town. It's like trash magnet. It's amazing.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know. It's frightening. I just can't go there. I get the heebie-jeebies. It's gross.
Yeah. Yeah, like they've allowed to be open this whole time. Not it seems kind of unfair, like who gets to be open and who's not, even though you're maintaining about the same distance you would in a grocery store as you could make that happen at a comedy club. Like you can make that happen.
Yeah, there's a club in Ohio just reopened, and they I've seen the layout. It's like tables of 4, 6 feet apart from each other. They're only seating like 70 people. It's weird. It's very weird. And there's a plexiglass shield over the top, so in case you spit or sweat, it gets onto the shield instead. It doesn't go into the crowd.
Oh, for comics.
Yeah.
Like the audience is a buffet. And basically one of these plastic spit shields. Wow.
Basically, yeah. And then I just saw a picture this morning actually. There's a concert in Arkansas that the guy opened up, and there was only 200 people at the concert where it holds close to 1,200.
Wow.
The way they spaced them out, like it was a whole general admission pit, and they had like 1 chair here and then like 2 chairs here. It was, I just won't go. It's really going to eliminate a certain type of person who wants a certain type of experience from a live music event, comedy. It's like you go partially for the energy in the room that's caused by all these people hyped up, and it's like, is it just going to be a thing now strictly for entertainment
that's lame? And then and it's like, well, okay, well, what's gonna happen now? You have to have less people in the club. Are club owners gonna raise their prices dramatically? Is food gonna be raised dramatically?
They'll raise all that, and they'll drop what they pay us.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
God damn it.
Absolutely. I'm fully prepared to hear the listen, business isn't as big as it used to be. This is a new normal. And if you think I'm driving to Ohio for $100 a show, you're out of your mind. I'll stay home. I'll Uber if I have to. I don't care. I won't do that.
Right. You do have to like recognize, okay, like at what price is it just not worth? Because it's, everyone loves to perform, but the time it takes to get there, you have to drive 8 hours. Are you taking a plane?
I'm not getting on a plane for a show anytime soon,
Do you think that comedy club owners or bookers will take advantage of this and like and definitely say business is bad. I mean, I'm sure it is. It's like they've all
Yeah,
been closed.
I think the shittier ones will. I think like because there's always a couple that are shady to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the good ones are going to try and stay the course, and that's kind of how I live. You just be a good person. I'd rather have, instead of doing a Friday Saturday show, I'd rather you do one show and really do it well than have to have 10 people and then pay you half the price of what you're going to do.
Yeah.
It's tough. And I feel bad for people who like Frank. I feel bad for guys like him, like Soulja, who open up their own clubs, and then months away, it just comes to a screeching halt.
Like most people don't like, I don't think have months and months of savings that they can, like, I don't think their landlords are going to be like, oh yeah, you can't, like I heard I think the stands rent was like, I don't know, maybe like 20,000 or 10, 15,000 a month. It's something like, oh God, how do you come back from that? And like, luckily with Frank, like he is, operating White Plains Comedy Club out of he doesn't have to pay rent. He's just
Sure.
like does his shows there. And luckily the guy he works with like owns the building and like he was really fortunate. And then the same thing with Lucy's in Pleasantville. And I really feel awful for these fledgling club owners that it's like you work your whole life to save up to open a comedy club or any small business. And then you're like, how do you,
It's so true. I have so many friends who own small businesses too. And, they're, some of them are thriving. Some of them are really thriving as far as, restaurants and things like that for, curbside takeout, whatever. But like regular businesses, I mean, I have friends who have owned businesses 20 years and they're like, one more month and I'm done. And like, that's a 20-year investment of your life. It's crazy, but, things are going to start to reopen soon. I mean, they open our beaches for this weekend in Jersey.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you can go on the boardwalk. You can walk one way and then the other way. You can't just mishmash like you used to. There's actual like.
Oh God, they have lines.
Yes. No arcades. No rides.
Oh.
Businesses are open as far as like food, but you gotta wait on a line now. And then the beaches are open, but you can't lay down. You can't
lay down?
You can't bring a chair. You can't bring a towel. You can't play football. You can't bring a Frisbee. You can just walk on the beach.
Can you stand in place? Can you just stand on the beach and look out to the ocean, think about your life?
They're actually saying to keep moving. So why even bother opening? It's just, and 50% capacity on top of it.
Because they don't want riots. They don't want people charging the beach and being like, fuck this.
I get it, because there's normal functioning people in society who understand, like, they're like, all right, look, if the beach says you can only lay down, then I'm going to get there early. I'll lay off for a couple hours and that's it. But then you have these tribes who freaking come down with like 55 people and bring in boom boxes and grills and fucking hot air balloons and shit. That's the people who are ruining everything for everything. It's just shitty, but I understand why they're opening, because people are in their house and they got to get out and they got to get some sunshine or whatever. But just want it over with now. Now I'm done. I'm a little done at this point.
It's been too much. It's been like overly hyped, overly shut down. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of people in power just don't want to look like, oh, we overreacted. A lot of this was completely unnecessary. But all the while, like, people are like losing it mentally and their businesses.
Yeah, people don't understand that it's not just a 1 or 2 month thing. This is going to affect generations.
Wow.
And people don't realize that, because think of it this way. I mean, you have somebody who is not mentally well, okay? And say they have, no, shut up. It's people who are like not mentally well, who are like on the brink of anxiety attacks and depression to begin with. And they have 2 kids, just say 2 little kids.
That's their first mistake. No.
What is to stop them from just taking sleeping pills and then fucking knocking themselves out and killing themselves? And then what happens? Because you're stuck in your house for so long, now these 2 kids have no parent, and that's how the generational thing goes into effect. Like now these kids have no parent for the rest of their lives, and it's going to screw them up mentally for all this time. You got to think big picture.
Yeah.
It's not just about public safety at this point. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it.
It's not, the ripple effects are not worth like, I guess, who we're trying to save now in the moment. It's like, all right, you're going to save a couple of 85-year-olds, but like how many people are going to commit suicide from this? From losing their jobs? How many people are going to like go into deep depression? And how many people are locked in like domestically abusive situations? And
you know what the scary thing is? You don't hear about any of it.
Yeah.
You don't hear about any of it. And I said,
who are people going to talk to about it? Nobody's listening,
Well, yeah, but I heard, like I said this months ago, like things are going to change when you hear about the first homicide or the first suicide or the first domestic violence situation. It's been 2.5 months. Have you heard of has one thing been reported?
I've like a couple of random shootings, like I mean, weren't there like a couple of random, like, maybe like a cop shot a person?
Yeah, I mean, but obviously crime is down because you're not anywhere, but you're not hearing about things that are definitely an issue.
Yeah.
And I think they're not saying it because, again, call this a conspiracy theory if you want. They're not saying it because they don't want more of a revolt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. They're trying to downplay as much of the effects as possible. Of course there's going to be, I mean, what are you going to do? Like when you can't make money for yourself or your family, it's like, you're going to think, oh, what's a way out? Exactly. I don't know. Yeah. And I think they're just stretching this on and on so it gets as close to November as possible so that it affects the election.
I think at some point it does. I mean, and New Jersey's governor has just said, I don't have a timeline. And he actually went on record by saying, I don't feel comfortable releasing everything back to normal until there's a cure. Not a vaccine, a cure. If you can hear me, I can't hear you.
Oh, I just muted how did I mute my microphone? It's like, I think it's kind of ridiculous that it was flattening the curve so that the hospitals aren't overwhelmed. It's like the hospitals weren't really overwhelmed. And it's like, now we have to find a cure. It's like, why? We're not finding cures for cancer is still a huge killer. Every other flu, like people die normally from the flu every year. So it's a big red flag. It's like, it's very unrealistic.
I agree. And he's going to wind up having, look, I live in Hudson County, which is right by the Holland Tunnel. So I'm close to New York. New Jersey is the most densely populated state in the country. Hudson County is the most densely populated county in the state.
Wow.
So I live in the most densely populated part of the country. Wow. And people are fleeing. They're absolutely fleeing New Jersey because, number one, it's expensive to live here. Mm-hmm. Very, very expensive to live here. And now with all this new normal and this new change, you can work from home. So why wouldn't you want to go to Delaware where you can have a little land and still make a paycheck? You know what I mean? It's really going to cripple New York, New Jersey if they don't really buckle down and let shit open up at some point.
I think the damage might already be done because I think the people that have been working remotely from their jobs the last 2 months, they're like, wow, it's almost like it's forced companies' hands to say like, okay, what are our capabilities to do for people to work remotely and for people to work from home? And it's like, I think a lot of people are not going to be like, why do I have to go back to commuting like an asshole every day? And like, just to go into New York City and just to do something that they could do from home, and then to move to a state where like they get to keep more of their own money and their money goes further.
It's also a slippery slope though, because there's a lot of people who don't like working from home either. Mm-hmm. They actually do like the commute. Like, so, say if you're in a shitty situation, again, now say if you and Frank were in, just hated each other, you know what I mean? And you were just living together because you had to. And you had that ability to just go and get on a train, take an hour, go to work your day, do a couple spots, come back. That's fine. Now you're stuck at home and you have to work from home and you have to face that, in your face all the time. I mean, if you're in a bad situation, that's really tough.
Yeah, I think it's forcing a lot of people to like confront their relationship issues. Like I imagine there would be like a lot of breakups and divorces happening now, or like, right after it, as soon as things get normal.
There's going to be a huge spike in divorce. I guarantee it. guarantee it, because there's
You're
no
forced to
separation.
confront. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no separation either. It's like you get up at 7 o'clock, you have a cup of coffee, you have your breakfast, and you say, okay, I'm going to work, and then you just go into the next room. And then you're there for 8 hours, and then when you're done, it's like you don't have the separation of your sanctuary. Like your home is your sanctuary. No matter where you live, that's your escape. So now it's become more of a, I'm working here. I don't feel like I live here anymore. I feel like this is my work. So that, like, you know, other shit happens. You stop cleaning your house. You stop, you know, giving a shit about what's going on inside of it. You know, you have to have a separation at some point.
Yeah. How have you and the wifey been doing? Are you biting each
Good.
other's heads off?
No, everything's good. I mean, you know, because, you know, she's working still, so she works from her office, and, you know, I do podcasts and watch 90 Day Fiance and Bar Rescue. And
Bar Rescue's the best.
Oh, it's on all day long. But yeah, you know, you just got to keep things. If there's a situation, you got to squash it immediately, because there's no mall for me to go to. You know, I can't go to the mall and walk around for 3 hours and cool off, or just to get out. I have Target, Walmart, ShopRite, Stop and Shop, and Lowe's and Home Depot. First of all, I don't even own my house. What the hell am I going to Lowe's and Home Depot for? That scratches 2 of them off.
Gotta go build a deck. Yeah.
I built a garden. I built a freaking garden. I'm so bored. I'm gardening. Yes, I'm gardening.
I did not expect that from you, Sean. Wow.
No, neither did I.
What are you gardening?
I have basil and rosemary and lavender and 6 different types of peppers.
Wow. Have they grown so far? Or
they're blooming.
Okay.
They're blooming. So it gives me like a little bit of sense of accomplishment that, God forbid, one of my friends dies and leaves me their kid. I know I can at least keep them alive.
With your garden?
Well, I know how to like water it. You know what I mean? Like I know how to water it every 2 days, you know?
Yeah.
But it's, you start doing things you never thought you would ever do. Ever.
Yeah.
Just to kill time.
I planted a green, like Frank had like a leftover piece of a green onion, and those things grow so fucking fast. It's grown an inch in like in just a few days. Like they grow so fast. It's weird.
But it's also therapeutic. Like if you think about it, because like I'm watching these plants, like, and when it's really, really sunny, I see the plants start moving towards the sun. Like
wow.
It's a weird.
You're outside for a while to see that.
Yeah, it's so weird, but like, you know, it's just something to kill time instead of just stuffing my fat face all day long, you know?
And I think too, like, especially with your wife is a cancer survivor, you two have been through that together.
Sure. And it's, you know, that was very difficult, you know, of course, but it just makes you appreciate life more too. So you want to experience the things that, you know, could have been taken away from you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough. Like we're concert goers. Like we love going to concerts. Everyone has been, every day now I'm getting another notification that one's canceled.
How often would you go typically?
Probably about 30 a year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like in the summertime, it's always more because there's always these big festivals and things like that. But yeah, I just got the notification what's today? Tuesday. So Monday, 2 of them, one was postponed till next year. So it's like you're holding $300 of my costume.
That band might not even be together. I mean, probably the ones you see are like good ones, but.
Well, yeah. But one was canceled. And like, you know, I'm going to these big things. And like, now I just realize summer's done. Like the concerts are done. They've already said that there's no concerts in Jersey at all this year.
Ugh.
I'm just waiting for the money to start rolling back into my bank account. But, you know, it's just the little things you take for granted. You know, going to Asbury Park, which is one of my favorite places in the world. Go to Asbury Park, walk on the boardwalk, play pinball, eat tacos, watch a show. The pinball place is closed. The taco stand is closed, and there's no music. So it's just kind of like.
It's like they taken the life out of it. And like, why can't they just spray down the, like, I don't know, the video games? Why can't people just like continue with their sanitizer if they're worried and wear their masks if they want?
I mean, I agree, but I guess they're thinking that, you know, what do? Do you close off every other machine so that way there's 6 feet in between you?
That's an idea.
They were talking about that in Seaside because that's a big portion. That's 60% of their revenue every year is the summer. It's 3 months is 60% of their revenue. So
wow.
And these places are going bankrupt because, you know, listen, I've thrown $80 in a crane machine to win my niece a turtle. I have.
Really? $80?
Yeah, $82 actually.
I should talk. I spent $160 playing Pokemon Go last month, so. Ooh, don't want to admit that.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but
Oh,
you know what? It's just trying to get some sort of balance and semblance of normalcy. You know, it's weird, but we're gonna get through it.
I think so. It's like it'll eventually get back there because I don't know. I'm definitely not one of these people that's like gonna be hand sanitizing and like from now on forever. It's like some new habits will stick, but it's like I wasn't a super duper washing my hands all the time person before this started. And it's like me and Frank just got tested for antibodies. Like we don't have the antibodies. We never had the virus. So it's like, all right, I guess like what we've been doing, and we haven't been hyper obsessed with mask wearing, you know, when we're outside and walking and.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Like, I mean, if I just go to the park, no. But if I'm going, if I know I'm going to Walmart or something.
Sure, of course, yeah.
I put the mask on. I sanitize everything. As soon as I get home, I bring the bags in. The shoes stay outside. The clothes get ripped off right into the washing machine. I go right in the shower.
Oh, wow. Okay. Do you wash your groceries down?
No, not that crazy. But no, listen, you know, it stays on your clothes if somebody has it, you know. And like we had like 1,000 people in my town. My town's small. And we had over 1,000 people who had it.
Wow.
You know, so it's you know, it is scary, but you also can't let it control your life either. And that's
also it could be like good foreplay. Like you have to get home and strip down right away. Like I'd watch that porn.
You really don't want to see me naked, Chrissy.
Maybe I do.
Wet mozzarella.
Ugh, it's wild, especially when you look back at like, oh wow, so many CEOs stepped down and collected their stocks like conveniently right before all this happened. Like
of course,
mega Disney, like mega companies CEO stepping down, and it's like
there is a lot that we're not being told.
Oh God. And the more you look into it, the more trivial and like hopeless you feel. But it's like, I think it's better to know than to be totally in the dark.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'd rather them say, look, we have no idea what this thing is. It's a monster, and you got to just deal with it. Instead of them saying, oh, it's under control, the curve's flattening, blah, blah, blah. Look, there's still people dying every day. You know, and granted, I mean, look, you know people who've had it. I know like 50, I think it was 54 people who've had it.
Really? I only know like, okay, a friend's mom had it. I don't know anybody like with 1 degree of separation that's had it. Except for actually Jeffrey Gurian, so probably the only one.
Yeah, he was one of the first actually, but
yeah.
I mean, I've known people who have tested for the antibodies and they're positive and had no symptoms at all. Then I had some who took the, you know, did the test too and say that, you know, I really felt like shit for 2 weeks and I really kind of felt that I had it, and they got tested and they were positive. Some people were just like a little cold, and then I knew people who were on ventilators for 22 days.
Wow.
So it's just it's so weird. But like, I mean, I have actual close friends who've had it.
Wow.
And they were just like, yeah, they're fine now. And luckily, I can't believe, like, I'm very, very lucky in the fact that I do know so many people who've had it and not one has died.
Wow. Okay. That's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, have they died? But that's.
No. But like a friend's friend did, and they had to do a drive-through funeral.
Whoa.
Drive-through funeral. Where they bring like the coffin outside and you just do like a.
Does the coffin have to then sit in traffic? Like, are you just like, is there like a line, you know?
Imagine if they didn't put the brakes on it and like it was a little bit of a downhill and the coffin rolls into the street.
Do they just drive open casket like down the road and then you just drive by, you throw flowers into it, I imagine?
That would work.
Yeah.
That would absolutely work, but everything it's gotta lighten up now at this point. It has to, because there's just so much. The world's gonna collapse at some point.
Yeah. Are you gonna wear a mask on stage?
No.
Okay. Like a real man. Yeah.
Yeah, like a real fucking human. That has to do with a man.
And also, how are people gonna see how you're feeling? That's like half of somebody's act is how they like look and feel, and like it's like half your emoting is gone.
Sure. And for me it's gonna suck too, because I love a full crowd, because I do a lot of crowd work. So if I'm gonna have 25 people in the crowd, I'm gonna be done talking to them in 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
it's gonna be interesting too, because it's like your crowd work is not like, for me, my crowd work is not going to be like, hey, so who's lost their job? You know, it's like, nobody wants to talk about that. You have to find a way to like turn it back to yourself. And
Hey, who lost their grandmother?
yeah.
It's just it's gonna be, everything's gonna be different. But I'm looking forward to the first time. I really am. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be very different.
I am too, if I can remember my act. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I threw a little mental curve at you there.
It's gonna be really sweet. Like I really miss it. I really miss the energy right before you get on stage where it's like,
Mhm.
oh, am I excited? Am I nervous? Am I both? Like old rooms you've done before, the new room, like there's a different feeling for each one.
I almost wish, like, there's a part of me that wants to get up there for an hour and close the show and really just get my feet completely wet. And there's also a really big part of me that wants to host the first time that I get back. So I could just do like 10 minutes up front and just get the feet wet and not
Yeah.
have to worry about it. But it's either way. I'm really really getting antsy now.
Yeah. I
I don't
think
think
I
we're
would
gonna have
also
any comedy during the summer. I think the summer's done.
I
Right?
think I would also like to wade in. Like, let me start first by seating people. Maybe I could work at the valet. I'll
Yeah.
take people's
Right.
orders.
But yeah, I think we're done for the summer. It's, there may be a couple random one-offs here or there, but I don't think we're getting back to normal until the fall.
In terms of like comedy shows.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's done until the fall at least. I think once we're all open, like as far as every state, as far as a certain level, I don't think so. I mean, and then you got to remember too, what's going to be really tough if you're trying to do clubs. Now everybody wants to play those clubs.
Because
You know,
everyone hasn't in 2 months or more
right?
longer than that. Yeah.
So like there's a club in Ohio. It took me like 7 years for this guy to answer an email. And then he finally, said, okay, I'm going to headline you, in the summer.
Oh,
And it's like, all right, now every headline is going to be emailing this guy. So he's going to take care of the guys who's worked for him for 20 years first.
uh,
So it's kind of like,
yeah, Sean, maybe that's where you're going to start slipping in a few nudes, like maybe a little
there-
link to your OnlyFans. Maybe we'll sweeten the deal a little bit.
only,
Or crack.
I would, let me tell you something. If I ever did an OnlyFans and someone actually paid to see this monstrosity naked, I would fucking refund their money and send them $5 on top of it. It's frightening.
Be like,
Listen, you got to give people credit though, because people are still making a living doing this kind of stuff.
yeah, and a lot of the longtime cam girls and longtime porn stars are like, hey, you're coming into our turf a little bit, like I think
Sure.
a lot of it, like if just you're a cute girl with time on your hands, you can make your rent doing it.
Right? Because there's still guys who are living in the basement no matter what.
Yeah. And honestly, if I had been single, I would have been on it by now. Because
You think so?
if you're like, who cares? There's no guy that cares about you to tell you like, no, don't do it, or like, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's like, but I think maybe the main thing is if I weren't taking my comedy as seriously, I think I would have
You
been
don't
on
want,
it.
that's your bread and butter, and like
Yeah.
you don't want to ever screw that up for anything. For a couple grand in your checking account, it's going to kill your career. It's not worth it. But if you have no soul and you want to do that, then it's totally fine.
It's bad enough. I already have people online talking about my horse face. It's like I don't need to show them what the rest of this looks like so they can talk about it,
You do get a lot of hate for some reason. Why is that?
I do get a lot of hate. I'm not sure. I'm actually like quite a delight in person, as you know, Sean.
Yes, you are. Which is what doesn't make sense to me.
I think I get hate because I'm a free thinker. And I think as soon as I joined up with Compound Media, a lot of people like to put me in this box of like, oh, you're a Republican, you're conservative. It's like, no, I just am like going to a network that is giving me a platform and my sense of humor resonates with everybody else that works there.
Right.
Like, I've gotten the most fans, the best time, like best shows working with those people than like spending 6 years producing a show at the Stonewall Inn. Like that got me 0 opportunities. So it's like, you got to just go where you're wanted and celebrate it. And I think people give me shit because I don't know, like I made fun of a couple comics, like doing impressions over the years. I don't know. It feels like with similar shit, I tend to get more hate and more like online trolling than other people. But like, I also don't want to sound like like a victim either. It's like, I don't have to be doing comedy, putting myself out there all the time. So it's like, you have to take what comes with it.
If they're trolling you, they're paying attention to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, if they're still trolling you and they're calling you names and bashing you, they're watching you every day.
Well, it was the whole city of Utica, and now it's most of the Asian community after Kung Fu fighting. It's all good, though.
That was very funny, actually. That was
Yeah, I was
very.
telling I just did an earlier podcast, and a lot of those folks, like my email was public or was public, and they signed me up for like Chinese dating sites, Chinese language lessons, like just Chinese job applications. People were signing me up to work like cashier jobs at like Walmart and Trader Joe's, and like it's so weird.
It's scary though, because like your information's out there.
Yeah.
It's so out. Like I got hacked like 2 weeks ago.
Whoa.
Well, yeah, it was nothing really. It was nothing like major, but like I didn't notice it until I got my email from GoDaddy, and it said that somebody took over one of my websites. Like just
oh my God.
stole it from me. And I was like, okay. So I called them like, yeah, you have to send us like a copy of your license and your passport. And I'm like, wait, it says right here that it was taken from Manchester, UK. I live in Bayonne, New Jersey.
Wait, what's your name? Maybe there's another Sean Morton who's one.
No, there's somebody got
I know your name, but like, what's your background? Maybe there's somebody in Manchester. Aren't you like Irish? Like, maybe
so
there.
I'm half Irish, half Italian, but the only thing that comes close to my name is there was this like psychic named Sean David Morton who like milked people out of like $38 million. And occasionally I get an email saying, how could you do that to people? And I keep saying, no, look, I'm not. And they're like, and you get now you're into comedy.
Oh
on
my
top of all this?
God.
I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with that. I'm not the same person, blah, blah, blah. But that same day, I got like 250 emails within 4 minutes of all these newsletters, things I was signed up for. Similar thing, but it was all within 4 minutes. So once I changed my password and stuff, I'm still fighting with GoDaddy. I'm still fighting with them to get it back. And it was a website that I'm building for my podcast. Like I haven't even started building it yet. Like I had the bones base and everything like that, and it's just gone. So people are just shitty. People are just shitty. I hate people.
It's like if you don't like what somebody's art or what they're putting out there, like go find somebody that you do like. Why is there this need to like destroy the things that you don't like? Like just move on. Just like
here's a situation. So my cousin posted one of those things on Facebook that says, I got the letter F, describe me in one word with that. And I just put down rhymes with maggot. Funny. Okay, you got a simple chuckle. This dude, I don't know who he was, wasn't friends with me. Apparently he was friends with him. Went on a tirade for like 2 days. He's gonna ruin my career. He's gonna email every booker in the country saying I'm homophobic.
Sounds like he's a closeted gay guy, or was he actually gay?
Number one, that's what I thought. Number two, I dug deep in the profile, failed comic.
There you go. See, it has nothing to do with the word at all.
Nope, just his insecurities as well. But people will try and will kill your light just to make themselves feel better. It's just horrible.
Yeah, extinguishing somebody else's light doesn't light your light. That's like the worst sounding sentence I think I've ever said.
It was pretty bad, but I knew where you were going.
You don't like get that person's success. It's not like, oh, it's just
so dumb.
Does nothing. And they're gonna come back. They're gonna, there's no way you're gonna permanently.
I think you're doing a great job on Compound Media personally.
Oh, thanks, Sean.
I'm a big fan of Compound Media. Everybody that I've done shows with there has been nothing but amazing. It's a great network. Obviously it leans more right, but who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Yeah,
I don't know how that really happened, but I don't care like all that much about. When I didn't care all that much about politics and news and current events when I started with them like almost a year ago. Now I care a bit more, but I would say that like I probably align more with them than against them. But I also think like just go where people like love and support you, and you've been great like on the shows you've come on and done.
Look, you have to just have your own opinion, and that's the most important thing. It really is. It's like, and I'm more middle ground than anything. Yeah. Like I'm a registered Democrat, but I still voted for Trump, and I'll say it on your show. I've never said it to anybody before, but
yeah, I'm a registered Democrat, and I voted for Jill Stein. Ooh.
All right, maybe you don't make decisions in your life, but
we'll edit that out.
You can edit that out. But like, I had a conversation with my nephew's girlfriend, and it was a very poignant conversation. We were talking about politics, and she's way far left, and she was talking about Trump, and I'm like, okay, well, yeah. She goes, well, who did you vote for? I said, I voted for him. And then she was like, I can't believe I had this amazing conversation with you, and you voted for him. And I go, stop a second. Here's what I want you to understand.
It's the most ignorant shit ever.
Well, it's not that it's ignorance. That people just have to listen and
Yeah.
stop listening to what the news is telling you. So
Yeah.
I said this to her, and I completely blew her mind. I said, here's what I want you to understand. Yeah, I voted for him, and I voted for him for my reasons and my reasons only. Does he say a lot of stupid shit? Absolutely. But if my nephew knocked you up and you got pregnant and you said, I'm not ready to have a baby, or I don't want a baby, I believe you have 110% right to walk into an abortion clinic and do what you need to do.
Mm.
She goes, but how could you say that you voted for him? I said, here's on the flip side. As you're walking into that abortion clinic, I have no problem with you having a gun strapped to your hip. And she was like, it completely just shattered. Like, it blew her mind when she said that. She goes, I can't believe I had an actual conversation with somebody who voted for him and it wasn't combative. And that's the whole thing. Just get your point across. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. There's many things that I think are wrong with what he does. There's many things that I think they're right. But don't force it down my throat.
Yeah. Yeah. People are so used to getting all of their opinions from the mainstream news, and they don't even know that they're not their opinions. They don't know that they're being fed what to think.
Brainwashing. It's complete brainwashing. You can have something happen and just watch it on one channel, and you see the facts, and then you go to another channel and it's the complete opposite when you saw it happen. And you're like, I can punch you in the face, right? CNN and Fox News can be right there. And you know, CNN will say, oh my God, this man viciously attacked this poor woman. And then Fox will say, why did that woman dive onto his fist? You know what I mean? It's just it's bullshit. Yeah. It's just all bullshit. Just make your own opinion, and who gives a shit, and stop labeling it.
A lot of times, like these
I would never hit you, by the way. Let's just get
that. Oh, darn it. There goes my spank bank. A lot of time these like different news stations, you'll actually hear them say the exact same script. Like, what was it that I was listening to? And like it was like this super cut of a bunch of different channels saying, oh, it's dangerous to our democracy. And it was like, it's like uncanny how different reporters on different networks are saying the exact same sentence.
And you see a lot of things too, like even the stuff on social media, like when they'll say, oh, this guy, I remember it was like a black guy who was a doctor who died of the virus in North Carolina. And like they show the picture of the same guy, and he was like a teacher in Wisconsin, and he died.
Oh yeah, how they reused the photos.
They just reuse shit. It's just it's terrible. And all it does is poison our culture.
And
we need comics in the office, I think.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know that I would do it though. Who would you pick? Which comic would you pick to run for president?
Oh my God. That's a really good question. Maybe, God, I mean, I'm thinking like who knows the most about policy, and I don't know. I like Dave Smith right now. He's
dude.
He's libertarian, super smart. Yeah, I think I might start with him.
That's a good pick. I'd probably go Carrot Top.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even thinking of like, more famous area.
No, just pick a guy from Brooklyn. That's fine.
Yeah, like Jerry.
So what are you doing to keep sane?
I have a turtle that I watch. Frank got his kid a turtle, so sometimes I'll just like watch him eat dandelion leaves, and I'll bury him in his dirt. And I'll make him like climb up and down stuff. And then sometimes I have to give him a little bath because he's a baby turtle, and they have to take a little bath every other day. And then he'll
smell, right?
He'll stick it. They don't smell at all. It's the best.
Really?
And their poop is just like, it's like, it's nothing.
I remember watching a turtle once for the guy who lived above me when I was like a kid. And I remember it was just this most vile, disgusting smell from the turtles.
Really? Okay, so this is a tortoise, actually. It's like a land thing. It's not like living in water. But like once you get the enclosure set up and like, or the tank and all the things, it's like throw a couple leaves at him every day, turn the lights on and off, the heat lamps, right?
You collect geodes, I see too in the back behind
you. Oh
yeah. That's pretty cool.
Hippie crystal shit.
Hippie crystal shit.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in that stuff?
Kind of.
Yeah. Like it pulls energy out of you and stuff like that?
Yeah, it sometimes gives you it, they give you energy. Different crystals help you work on different things. But that's a whole other episode.
Yeah.
I think I'm all for whatever makes people feel good, they should do, you
I
know.
agree. 100. If you're not hurting
Yeah.
anybody, just do
Yeah.
whatever you gotta do.
I have an amethyst dildo.
Yeah. I don't. And
Makes you feel calm. Really
although I
calm.
might order one now.
Actually, I got it as payment for a gig. It was a show out in Brooklyn. It was at this like sex, like it wasn't like an orgy club. I forget what it was called. It was like a sex club or whatever in Brooklyn. And they're like, here, pick one of these out. And they just had like a basket of crystal dildos. And I was just like,
That's the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life.
yeah, it was good
I
times.
normally get paid in like drink tickets and chicken fingers, but like never like, things you can insert inside of you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could put anything inside of you if you really wanted to.
You really could, but there's limits.
Yeah, we're gonna get through this, Sean.
We are. We're good.
Thank you so much for coming on, Sean. Where can people find you? Are there any upcoming gigs that you want to point people to?
Yeah, I just got booked for a gig in February down the shore of next year.
Okay, good. Next year.
No, I think the only thing I really want to plug is the new podcast that we're doing. We're going to have you on in a few weeks. It's called
Ooh.
And it's different than what most comics are doing when you have a two-person comedy podcast. We're just beating the shit out of each other. It's me and Jeff Paul, and we, there's comedic.
Oh, Jeffrey Paul's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great dude, and we're just doing things differently. We're just taking our love of music. And there's comedic little elements thrown in there, but like we had some decent people. We've had Don Jameson on.
That's great.
We've had Joe Ganascoli from Sopranos on. So now I'm just taking it to like a different, I'm trying to take it to a different level. So check that out on YouTube or
What's it called?
Who's Your Band?
Who's Your Band?
So we're going to bring you on in a few weeks to talk about Radiohead.
Ooh, good. I love them. They're one of my favorites.
Yeah, I don't, so it's going to be a great episode.
Oh no.
I like a couple. I like the hits. I don't go deep, but yeah, that's cool. I mean, Facebook is the easiest way. Just Sean Morton on Facebook, and we do live feeds every night. We're doing stupid videos. I got another podcast that's in the works. We're going to debut the first episode this week as well. It's more of a therapy session between me and my new co-host for that one.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
It's called Couch Time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna solve each other's problems weekly. So
good.
That should be interesting. But
yeah,
listen, thank you for having me on. It's always fun. You're
the best. I can't wait till we can do shows together again. And I'll have you back.
I'll put another one in February next year.
Yeah.
I haven't booked it yet.
Yeah. All right. You're the best, Sean. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, dear. Thanks, guys.
Bye.